In this video, I'm going to show you the recipe to one of our signature couples portraits, day versus night. We're going to turn this scene into this final image in camera.
My name is Pi, and I'm one of the founders of Lynn and Jersa Photography and SLRLounge.com. We're teaming up with Adorama to bring you a new series of photography tutorials called Master Your Craft right here on Adorama TV. So let's dive in.
Hello, my friends. My name is Pi. Welcome to Adorama TV. Let's get straight into this. If you guys have been following Master Your Craft, we've been doing a little series where we kind of break down some of our signature portraits at Lynn and Jersa Photography. And it's part of a new course in SLR Lounge where we basically dive into all of our special effects and signature imagery. I want to give you a sneak peek into it. We're going to run down quickly because this is a complicated setup. I want to show you guys how this shot is created in camera. Let's start first with what you're going to need. So obviously you need your camera, your lens. Any camera is going to work. From a lens standpoint, I do prefer something around the 24 to 35 millimeter range. It could be a zoom, it can be a prime, doesn't really matter. I also like having a tripod. Why? Because I'm going to have to finagle this ND filter in just a moment, and having the camera up on a tripod keeps the composition stable. It makes it a lot easier. Is it a must? No, but does it make your life a lot easier? Yes. Okay, next, I mentioned the ND filter. So we're going to use the ND filter to actually split the frame to darken one side of the frame by simply holding it right over the lens. For this, I would recommend a square filter because we obviously want that straight line, and somewhere between the 3 to 4 stop range. This is the Tiffin Water White 1.2. It's a 4-stop. I think it's called the Natural ND. It's really nice. Not a lot of color, graduation, great filter. Last, you're going to need a flash. So if you're doing this in bright midday conditions like we are, you're going to want something that's high power. So something around 400 watts, 500 watts is great. Over there, I've got the Profoto B10, and it has a grid and CTO on it. Now, let's quickly walk through how to actually set up the shot. And if you want more details, we have that in the premium library, along with raw files, A to Z, post-production, everything. But this is YouTube. Let's keep it simple. So, camera's up on the tripod. I want you guys to think composition first. And for the composition, actually, guys, why don't you step over to this side for just a second, because I want to show them my composition is really this white wall, and I actually like the double lines that are dropping down that are going to go just behind Will and Arabella. Okay, so this is the overall composition. Once you have composition dialed in, we're going to jump to ambient light. So step 2 is ambient light, but this isn't like how we would typically dial in ambient light, because what I'm going to do is, Will and Arabella, why don't you step right in the middle of the frame. I'm going to have them go back to back and hold hands in the center. And what I often am doing for ambient light is setting the intention, right? And we're trying to kind of retain detail and all that. For this image, half the image is going to be darkened, the other half is going to be bright. So what I want to do is actually bring up my histogram, and I'm going to expose the right side as bright as possible without blowing anything out, okay? So I get there right about here at 1/200 of a second, f4.5, ISO 200. In fact, what I might do is go to f5.6. Let's go ISO 400, and we get to this image where it's bright, but it's not blown. Now the ND filter is going to go on this opposite side. I'm going to bring it right towards the center. We're going to take a little sample shot. Okay, I got to move it in more, and roughly this is kind of what we're going for, right? But you'll notice that he's dark. So this is where we get to step 3, the modify piece. We need to add light. So we're going to do so by placing that Profoto B10. It's kind of right behind our couple, and it's angled directly in right at Will's face. I have the ND filter on there, I have the CTO on there with a grid. The grid is to prevent the light from spilling anywhere else, especially onto Arabella's face, and the CTO just because it's subjective. I like a little bit of warmth to that light. I think it looks kind of cool. So you can use or not use that piece. I have this set to 10 power. That's generally where you're going to want to start when you're doing something midday like this, because you're going to need a lot of juice. If your light source is less powerful, bring it closer. You might have to edit it out of frame or just crop it out of frame, but it can still work just fine. So with all that set up, then you're going to get to the photograph piece. And what we're going to do is I'm going to bring this filter right over the lens with my remote on. Let's go ahead and get a test pop. Perfect. Okay, guys, do a tiny little adjustment, scoot this way a little bit towards Will's side, right there. Perfect. I'm going to bring this right over, make sure the line is straight, And you're gonna take a few pops because you're kind of making slight adjustments to the ND filter with each shot just to get it perfectly in the center and straight up and down. Takes 4 or 5 shots and there's the final image. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you did, I'd love for you to like the video. We'll also link up Will and Arabella so you can give them a follow as well. We're gonna post everything that we used in the description of this video. And if you enjoy these types of concepts and A to Z training from shoot all the way through to post, be sure to check out SLR Lounge Premium Education. We'll have a link to that as well. That's it for me. See you guys next time. Peace.